This is homework for week 8 for Mr. Reed's Year 7 maths class. One of the things that I wanted to point out about this homework is that when you're doing each question, you need to make sure you copy down the full question and then answer it underneath, because some of you are struggling to do your purple pen corrections because you've not written enough information down about the question, just the answer. So let's think about that as we do each question. So on this first one here, on that point, if you were to copy this table down, it would be very helpful. So draw this table neatly with a pencil and ruler. And then there are these things here, and I want to know which units you would use to measure these things. So for example, how do you measure the height of a person? And I'm talking units, not the equipment, so I don't want to say tape measure here. I want to say the actual metric units that you might use for the height of a person, and then the old-fashioned imperial units as well, if you can think of an equivalent there. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 answers required. All your new ones down there, the older ones down there. If we go on to question 2, and again, you need to copy this sentence down, what you're doing, and the original number before you then round it to one significant figure. Remember, we've talked about this first column rounding. So this first one here will be to the nearest 100, and so on. On to question 3. Write each question down and then answer it fully. To give you a clue based on how we're doing it in class, the first one would be 6/10 multiplied by 2/10. And that should get you started. Remember to use that method for each of them. On to question 4. Now this is the problem solving logo that you're going to see more and more in class, on worksheets and on homework. You'll need to copy down this information, these two questions here, and you've got Bob saying that estimations and calculations are the same, and you can see he's done the same thing. So what you need to do is fix this with your purple pen. One of them's right, one of them's not. If we move on to question 5. Ordering decimals. Now that's something that we are doing in class, but actually you've probably seen it at primary school as well. So if you can write these decimals in order from small to big. Now questions 6 and 7 on the same page. Let's have a look at 6. What is pi? This is the symbol for pi. And how is it used to calculate the area of a particular shape? So you can look that up on the internet if you've forgotten. And question 7. What do you get when you add all of the numbers from 1 to infinity? Now this is a really crazy answer that I talked about in class, and there's a few videos online that show you why the answer is what it is, and it's certainly not something you would expect. The answer is not infinity, and so you could look this up online, see if you can find out the answer. It's not an answer that you're going to understand initially, but you certainly could research it and find out what that number is. On to question 8. Calculations. Again, write these calculations down and show you working out. So you're going to have to use BidMaths. There's a little joke question there. I think we know when it's BidMaths time now, hopefully. And question 10 is going to look crazy when I first show you it. There's information everywhere. It's up to you how much of this information you write on the page. My advice would be to possibly try and ignore anything irrelevant. And you've got to work out, with a lot of information that's there, the cost of a trip for a family. So let's have a look at this question. And as I said, there's a lot there. So let's see what's expected in this question. First of all, look at all the information and calculate the total cost for the whole family to visit the zoo. And then it's your job to go through here and piece together the information. The dad's called Jim, and so on. They've got children. There's some information about the fact that children, for example, Roger's one of the children. He wants to buy some sweets. You need to find out how much sweets are. That'll be somewhere on this page. Sally's buying a t-shirt, and so on. So you need to look into this carefully, show all you're working out, and work out the total cost of a trip to the zoo. I did want to point out this little PP symbol here that you'll see here as well, PP. That means per person. So for example, adult tickets are £15 each, and there are 2 adults. And you'll see per person mentioned here. Travelling on the train is £20 each per person. So do look out for that. It's not just £20 in total. It's £20 per person. Right, that's it. That question there is going to require quite a lot of detail working out to get that right. If you get stuck, remember the deadline's Friday. You need to speak to me and ask for help before Friday.